Greetings YouTube and welcome to the Blue Corner into a Cardfight deck profile, and this one is going to be on Neo Nectar featuring White Lily, Captain Musketeer, Cecilia. So yeah, this is Musketeers and it's the Cecilia build. Not much else I can say about that, so let's get started on this. Starting Vanguard is Broccoli, Musketeer, Kira, the grade 3 searcher, because the other ones don't really work in here. I mean, you're not running a full Legion deck, so the Legion starter doesn't work. And the other Neo Nectar starters don't really work in this. They're more suited to the maiden deck. Then for the main reason why I'm even playing this variation, in order to use my 1G unit, I'm running 4 copies of White Lily, Musketeer, Cecilia. Cecilia is a very old card. She's from set 8. And like a lot of other old cards, she hasn't really aged that well. Her limit break is return 4 normal units with Musketeer in the card name. Or is it 5? Yeah, it's 5. CB1, return 5 to the bottom of the deck in any order, and then choose call 2 copies of her out of the deck. So she basically CB1, shuffle 5, clone 2, but a 10,000 base isn't really that impressive, although it does give you access to Madu, which is always nice. But the main reason why you're using her, though, is for your stride. You never really want to be sitting on Cecilia. The 10,000 is a bit of an issue in that, especially offensively speaking, as you can't stick a 5k behind her like you would with Vera and expect to hit the same numbers. Your opponent can 2-pass you with a 10k trigger, or no wait, they can no-pass you actually because you're swinging for 50. No wait, yeah, it's a 2-pass. What the hell am I smoking? But even if you have no starter because they killed it, and you swing by this itself for 10,000, then they can just put a 10k down and say no pass because they're 21. So that's a bit of a bummer. Her main skill, though, that you will be using if you have to, is her secondary skill, which is kill off a Musketeer, look at the top 5, and call a Musketeer. So it's the same skill as the much better grade 3 Licorice Musketeer Vera. We already know what this thing does. I profiled it a couple times already. Long story short, when you Legion with her, your units become big and scary, and once per turn you can pop a unit off, or pop a Musketeer off to call a Musketeer from the top 5 of the deck. And yeah, that's pretty much it for those things. So yeah, you're just going to Cecilia if you have a stride play. If not, you're just going into Vera. Then for the grade 2s, for Sylvia, 4 Kaivant. I'm running Kaivant in this build as opposed to Augusto, as I feel that since you're going to be more prone to mass calling via Captain Cecilia's effect, you're going to be getting a lot of units, and Kaivant offsets this by sacking off the triggers and just not good units that you call out of the deck and replacing it with, well, not only himself as a 9k beat stick, but whatever else you call out of the deck. Now granted, not running Augusto can be an issue, as it makes it so you don't hit that sweet spot 21k line that you would with Merca, which is one of the reasons why I'm not particularly fond of this build over the Elvira Vera build, because you're running Cecilia, you want to run Kaivants, which just, it cuts down on your offensive presence a little bit, I feel. And I feel like, I'll get into that in a bit, but yeah, that's what I'm doing for this. And then finally just 4 copies of Sal, Vera's Legion mate. Then for the grade 1s, it's exactly the same as before. 4 PGs, 4 Mercas, 4 Rebecca, 3 Rebecca, 3 Ruth, and I have a spare grade 1 slot, so I ended up running a copy of Susanna, whose effect allows me to Soul Blast 2 in order to unflip 2 damage. I'm running her because in this build I'm counterblasting way more because of Kaivant, so I have the opportunity to get that free unflip, but again, I don't know. It just seems like every time I play this build, I don't have nearly as much success as I did with the other ones. And I'm just making room for my triggers, which is 8 crit, 4 stand, and 4 heal. Really hoping that Musketeers get some kind of commons out of BT set 4. So far, almost everything has been spoiled, and there has been nothing. Like, come on, give me one more critical trigger so I can go 16 crit muskets, because I think that'd be really, really, really good. The lack of a draw trigger, that's not so bad. You're calling units out of the deck anyway, so you'll be hitting just, all your checks will be good shields. But it's just like, I think that going full 12 crits would make this deck way more aggressive, which it needs to be in order to keep up in the format. Then for the strides, and the main reason why I'm even playing Cecilia is for White Lily, Captain Musketeer Cecilia. Her skill is Counterblast 1, choose 2 rear guards with Musketeers, kill them, look at the top 5, and call 3 muskets. So, it is a +1, and since you're giving up 2 to get 3, and then from those 3 you might hit a Sylvia, and then from there you get like units of varying quality, because sometimes you'll just get a bunch of triggers, which isn't good, which is again why I'm running Augusto, or I'm running Cardfight to help pop off those triggers to get more things. And that's great, it's just she needs the Cecilia heart, and again, Cecilia just has those issues. Now, thankfully, the extra deck right now is free enough that you can do this, although once set 4 drops, I'm cutting these things out, because the new Asha G unit is really good in this deck. And that's what I'm going for. I'm probably going to go 4 Asha, 2 of Madhu, because I'm just going to do Madhu right now. Madhu is a very good card, especially in Legion decks, as its skill is when you stride it on top of a Vanguard and your heart has a unit with less than 10,000 power or less, so either Cecilia or Vera's Legion Mate, you can add a grade 3 from your drops into your hand, which is great for 2 reasons. One, if you happen to, call a Vera onto rearguard circle because of your skills and you ended up dying later, and you stride into a Vera, or rather you stride into this thing on top of Cecilia, then you can get that Vera back and right at the end of Legion. Or you can already, if you stride this on top of a Legion to Vera, then you can get a Vera that you discarded earlier because of, again, Musketeer shenanigans, so that you can stride Legion again on the following turn. So it helps turn your Legion in your stride play into basically a full plus, because it's a -1 to stride, but then you get that card back, and then you get the 3 drive check. So you get a +3, which is nice to have. 2 copies of Jingle Flower Dragon. It's just kind of there. Yeah, not really else I can say about that. If you happen to have 3 Merkas lined up, then you go for it, or 3 7Ks with the same name lined up, you go for it. But again, these 2 will be Dreamweaving Flower Maiden, Ronaclus's Asha, and then these 2 I don't see changing. It's Arborea and Primavera, as their skills are kind of helpful. This lets you clone a Sylvia, a Rebecca, or a Cardfight, and this lets you get multiple attacks off in a turn, because, as I recently found out, I was reading it wrong. You can go attack side, attack with Primavera, and then just call out, like, if you happen to have enough cards for it, like a full-on, like, Cardfight and Merca line, then you can go Cardfight Merca, attack with Primavera, clone Cardfight and Merca, and then do it again. It's like attack. So you get multiple attacks off in Neo Nectar, which is nice, but I think it's better when you have Augustos for it. And that's it for the deck itself. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It's been okay-ish. I don't know, like, I have some really mixed feelings about this, because in theory, this build looks really good. And pardon that noise in the background, someone is mowing the lawn, which I find to be incredibly ironic because I am doing a Neo Nectar deck profile. But, I don't know, like, I feel like the other build was better because I'm not having to run cards that offset the potential downsides of Cecilia, which is calling a whole bunch of bad units that you don't want to call. He just helps you, Kyvan helps you correct your board better, but because I'm not running Augusto, I can't hit for nearly as powerful lines, which makes it difficult to rush with this deck. I do see good things happening for this deck in the future. It's just for now, though. It still remains a pretty solid tier 2 deck, but that's really about it. If you know what you're doing with this, though, you can do things, because Musketeers are fairly fast, especially with the turn 2 rush play, when you happen to have Sylvia's. Sylvia is your Sword Me / your Aglovale. It's just that you don't get nearly as good stuff as those 2 cards. But anyway, that's all I got for this profile. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Until next time, this is Booster99, jacking out.